YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with our updated NFL power rankings heading into week 9 of the season. We update these every Tuesday morning, and it's based on how teams are playing in the moment. So updated every week based on how they are playing this season, not end of the year predictions, things like that, the way some people do them. So hopefully you guys enjoy them. We have weekly picks. We have a bunch of trade deadline videos out, and then we'll probably have a winners losers video if there's some more action. So join us for all that. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Any link you're looking for, Twitter, Picks League, sponsors, GLD Shop, Liquid IV, those links pinned in the comment section. Check them out. To the power rankings, not too many changes at the bottom. Lions at 32. I actually thought about, we'll show some of the other teams here. Texans 31, Steelers 30, and the Panthers 29. Two teams I thought about moving up, even though they lost, the Lions and the Panthers. The Panthers been looking a little bit better than they were in the past, obviously scoring a good amount of points against the Falcons, a game they should have won, but at the same time, couldn't pull it off. A little sloppy on defense, which was weird. Like, they finally get offense going, but they can't get on the same page with the Panthers. But the Lions, even the Lions look a little bit more like a threat. There was more life to the Lions compared to maybe the Texans and the Steelers. So for that reason, I thought about moving the Lions up. But at the same time, they had 27 at halftime. They finished with 27. They consistently do these things, kind of let games slip away. There's no adjustments to that team. The defense is very weak. I think Texans and Steelers play much, much better defense. So after thinking about it further, I was like, I don't really have enough there to move the Lions up. All these teams lost, so they all kind of stayed put. The Panthers are playing better ball right now, though, so you do have to give them that. They were at the bottom of these rankings for a bit, so they are 29. Jags down 2 spots, 28. The Jags are pretty close to having a much better record, but just kind of their identity at this point. They can't close out games. They can't figure it out. They can't, execute in those high pressure or some little pressure situations. They start off pretty strong in games all the time, but again, they can't figure it out right now. So it's weird because usually if they can't close out games, it's usually coaching. I've kind of liked their coaching, though. I think they put them in position to thrive. So I like the system, both sides of the ball, but they could be a little bit better down the stretch of games. But it just seems like maybe players like Lawrence, not executing. He has these flashes that he could be great. We see it every game pretty much. On the beginning of this one, that throw to Engram early was beautiful, but then big moments just kind of folding it, under the pressure there. So it's been tough with the Jags. The Raiders moved down a whopping 9 spots. You thought they were kind of getting something together, so you start moving them up into power rankings. Even playing against losing against the Chiefs, they played very well. They get the bye, beat the Texans, scored 38 points. So like, all right, here come the Raiders, and then no. Lose 24-0. Saints defense been struggling. Raiders can't score a single point. Their defense didn't play good as either. Some coaching questions on top of that. All around seems like a mess right now. So they're down 9 spots. One of the more disappointing teams on the year. And then coincidence, number 27, number 28, Raiders, Jags. They play each other this week. Who the hell are we going to pick in that game? This is one of those. Next, 26, the Bears down 1 spot. It's a pretty impressive outing, honestly, offensively, 2 weeks in a row. I mean, playing number 1 defense in football in the Cowboys and being able to score a good amount of points. Maybe there's some promise. And they still lost by 20 points. The defense played pretty bad. And the Cowboys' offense has been good, but you're still waiting for them to kind of figure it out, and they figured it out in this game. So Bears down 1 spot. Overall, the last couple of weeks, I think they've been, even though they gave a ton of points, lost by 20 this week, they've been better, I guess you could say, mainly because the offense has kind of found a spark, kind of got things going, changed some things up a little bit. So they got a game against the Dolphins this week, which actually could be interesting. Who would have thought Bears-Dolphins, possible shootout, wild. Broncos up 3 spots. Not the prettiest win, but they get the job done against the Jags in London. Much needed win there. Get Russ back in there. And they get it done. You see guys like Judy, Hamler, those guys stepping up. Judy big time. Making clutch plays. That Simmons interception was big. So, yeah, they're on the right track. Let's see if they can play better and stay consistent. They're up 3 spots, number 25 after that win. Colts are going to go down a whopping 8 spots. Just before going to record this, they fired offense coordinator Marcus Brady, which he was getting some hype in the recent past. So they let go of him. You'd think Reich has a lot of control of the offense, so it is intriguing, I guess. But the Colts, yeah, it's a tough one. Lose. I mean, 2 weeks ago, or not this past week. Week 7, they really struggle offensively against Tennessee Titans. They make that quarterback change, and they struggle again, but they were actually able to move the ball. They moved the ball to be able to score way more points than they did, but they just could not execute. Fumbles in the red zone. Jonathan Taylor, Ellinger, they can't score from the 1-yard line. They give up 10 points in the last 5 minutes. They play a really good defensive game, but they didn't complete it. So it's just kind of mess here, mess there, mess everywhere for the Colts in a very winnable game, a game they should win. They can't close out. So how are we going to trust them here? So they're going to go down a good amount here. The Colts and Raiders, big time fallers. It's rare to see teams move down this much at this time of the year, but losses like those, and just continuing to consistently be disappointing, we'll hurt you in these rankings. Bucks, they've continued to be disappointing. But no room to move them down. I still feel like they're looking like a better team, a team like the Colts, and we're going to move the Broncos ahead of them from one win against the Jags. The other teams have lost quite a bit. So it's just, even though they're deserving of moving down just because of the way they're playing and they're losing, again, they kind of got fortunate that there's really nothing going on for a team that I felt like to be ahead of them. And the same thing goes for the Packers. Which they had some life maybe in that second half against the Bills, so that's a good sign as well. I just didn't feel the need to move the Packers down despite the 4-game losing streak. So these teams got to figure it out, but fortunately for rankings like this, there are teams that feel like they are worse or have been playing worse, are worse. So those teams, fortunately for their sake, end up staying put. Browns going to go up 6 spots, an impressive win against the Bengals last night on Monday Night Football. The Browns are a team that could have a much better record than what they had, but it's kind of been their identity. They can't close out games. They can't figure it out. But this game, there was really no worry about closing out the game because the game was put away pretty early. They still got to close it out in a way, and they did that. But, dominant win. They had success on offense all the way around. They had success rushing the passer, obviously, and that was the factor there. That was the big factor. They won in the trenches. You combine offensive line and pass rush for the Browns. It just killed the Bengals' offensive line plus pass rush, for Cincinnati there. So, it was an impressive win against a Bengals team that was getting hot. So the Browns were deserving of getting a good boost for that one right there. Patriots up 1 spot to number 20. They did beat the Jets, who were kind of hot. They were ranked kind of high, and they go out and get a win. It was one of those games where it felt like it was a sloppy game. Whoever played worse was going to lose. I didn't really feel like whoever played better, who played good was going to win. It was, again, whoever played worse was losing that game. So still not really thrilled with the Patriots play the last couple weeks, but at the end of the day, they did win, so that is why they are up a spot to number 20. They got a game against the Colts this week. I mean, that could be it's another sloppy one there. 19, the Saints going to go up 5 spots. Impressive victory against the Raiders. They beat them 24-0. They had a really good day on offense. See Kamara really getting going, but the defense, that looked like more like the Saints defense. Kind of been waiting for that shutout against. I know the Raiders been struggling. We know that's a talented offense. I mean, they scored 38 last week. They scored a lot in the Chiefs a week before that, the game before that, they had a bye. So the Saints shutting them out to 0, having a good day offensively, winning 24-0. Extremely impressive. Maybe this is kind of where they get going. They play the Ravens Monday Night Football in New Orleans. That should be a fun one there. Cardinals down 1 spot to 18, lost to the Vikings. They actually had a shot in that game. They had some good offense, played pretty well offensively. They were a little slow early, I guess was the issue, but then some turnovers late kind of cost them, but kind of put up a fight there. They got things rolling a week ago against the Saints, so still kind of holding on to that a little bit. They're just very inconsistent right now, but it is really no reason to move them down further than that, but they continue to be a little disappointing. 17, the Falcons go up 2 spots. Luck was definitely on their side. The Panthers probably should have won that game, but Falcons very beat up at corner, being able to find a way. Offensively, they kind of have something click. Mariota was really struggling. There's a few plays early in that game that's like, man, it's going to be a bad day for Mariota. But he turned it around, was completing most of his passes after that. Didn't incomplete much. Was hitting some clutch throws, using his legs, making some clutch throws on the run. Pitts got going. I mean, Damiere Byrd got going. The running game, Huntley got going. So even though, they may be a little lucky to escape that one, there's some things that they did pretty well, and they add another win there. So they're going to go up 2 spots, 2-17. 16, the Rams are down 2 spots. They've been pretty damn disappointing as well. I mean, it looked pretty good early in this game against the Niners. It's a tough matchup for them. So they had moments where it's like, all right, maybe they can block a little bit better. Maybe they're adjusting. And at the end of the game, it kind of went back to normal. But maybe because it's a really good scheme, really good coaching staff, they're tweaking some things, starting to slowly figure things out. Tough matchup against the Niners. They finished this game pretty poorly. But again, I feel like that, even though they're been very disappointing, a lot of teams been disappointing and inconsistent, so they still feel like a little bit better of a football team than some of these teams underneath them as of now. 15, the Commanders going to go up 5 spots. Maybe a little fortunate to win that Colts game. They had some things kind of go their way at the end, but they made those clutch plays, whether it's, red zone defense, red zone turnovers, Heineke being clutch, McLaurin being very clutch, things like that. So they've kind of been clutch, and they're on a 3-game winning streak. So one thing they got more life with Heineke. That stands out, a little more life, a little more momentum. But bigger thing that stands out is their defense. The defense started the year looking like you say to yourself, is this the worst defense in football? It's like might be its bottom 3 maybe, and they're playing a lot better, specifically in the red zone. And they're going to get Chase Young back soon here, so they've been impressive. They've been impressive. Bigger test, I guess, against the Vikings this week with their offense. So we'll see how much better the defense is and if they can continue to be clutch. The Vikings have been clutch at the end of games as well recently, so it's an interesting one there. It's Kirk Cousins' revenge game. I'm actually looking forward to that game there. So Commanders keep on winning. They keep on, clutching up. So they're going to go up 5 spots, number 15. I mean, they were just at the bottom not that long ago. So you see, while other teams are back and forth, inconsistent, or putting losing streaks together, you put a winning streak together, you're going to go up. You're going to go up pretty fast. So that's all there really is to it there. 14, the Bengals down 5 spots. Another disappointing loss. Or I shouldn't say another one. Well, they had some earlier in the year, but a disappointing loss against the Browns after they were kind of getting hot there. But, you move down from that. But what's really disappointing, if you really look closely at the Bengals and what they've done, like while they started to get hot, they played the Saints, they played the Falcons. I talked about 2-man coverage teams. They don't present crazy pass rush. Now they go play a zone team that has Myles Garrett on it, and you struggle. And you kind of look back at the other games they won and lost, you see a pattern that isn't a coincidence. It makes sense. I know they're missing Chase in a game like this, which is huge, but there is a pattern that makes a lot of sense. Like if they're going to play a man coverage team or a team with a weak pass rush, they're going to win. They're going to win. If they're going to play a team with a strong pass rush and or zone coverage, they're probably going to lose, and that's kind of a problem. They're kind of just built for specifics, so and teams are adjusting, to play against them. We see a team like the Ravens changing their defense to be able to put up a better fight with a team like the Bengals. So it's not a coincidence at this point. You see that pattern? It's reality at this point. So they got to figure something out here, and they are pretty beat up. They got more beat up at corner in this game, so that's unfortunate there for them. But they're down 5 spots. Realizing they only can play against certain teams, I almost want to move them down more, but they are fresh off being hot. 2 games last week. I didn't really feel the need to move them down below the teams that are below them, because some of those teams are struggling, maybe getting fortunate to win, not looking super pretty, things like that. So 14 is where the Bengals are at. Chargers stay put at 13. They had a bye week. They play the Falcons this week, which that game could definitely go either way. 13 versus 17. Looking forward to that. Jets down 4 spots. Yeah, overall, they kind of been hot this season, been pretty good. I love their defense, but yeah, it's a tough loss against the Patriots. It was a game where whoever was worse in that game was going to lose, so there wasn't a whole lot of good football in that game. Some good defense here and there, but just really sloppy play offensively. That's a tough one there to lose one of those. Wilson was rough in that one. And then going forward, we'll see what happens. If they win, they're going to go up. They lose, they're going to go down. But going forward, it feels like they're going to have to rely on their defense, while missing Breece Hall, while missing Elijah Vera Tucker, while Wilson's, he can't really take the game over, or can he? We'll see. So, and then you play the Bills this week. So we'll see what happens, but it kind of looks tough. For the Jets going forward, it could be pretty tough. So they're on 4 spots after that one. But overall this year, they've been playing pretty good football. Love the defense. So they're still up in the 12, at 12 right now. 49ers up 4 spots to number 11. Very good outing against the Rams. Started a little slow, but then got going. Made some really good plays on defense, kind of adjusted because the Rams got off to a hot start. McCaffrey got going in multiple different ways. Garoppolo made some plays. Kittle made some plays. Ayuk made some plays. They didn't have Debo, and they're beat up, and they're able to do that. So impressive win for the 49ers. Overall, I think the 49ers are very capable of being a lot better than number 11. I think they're capable of being the best team in the NFC, and we'll see if they go do that. But for the power rankings that are updated every week, let's put, they got to put something a little more consistent together. They had some tough losses, even though they were beat up the last couple weeks before this. So let's see them kind of get consistent and start playing like the team they should be, and then they'll move up to where they should be. So they got to go out and do it. But heading in the right direction after that impressive win against the Rams. So that 4 spots, number 11. So again, let's have them put something together now. Dolphins up 2 spots, so you see another game with Tua back. They have a good win, come from behind win. The offense looking really good. Defense was a little questionable for the half of this game, but the adjustments in the second half very impressive. So I know it was the Lions who are ranked 32, but still saw some impressive things for the Dolphins there, and they are number 10, starting to put together maybe another winning streak they're putting together. Bears. Tougher than that 26 next to them because they changed some things. They're a harder game plan offensively. So I think, and the Dolphins' offense should be fine though. So I think that could be a shootout there at Miami in Chicago. Number 9, the Ravens up 1 spot. Good win against the Bucs. The first half it was not good. It didn't really have any life. It felt like the Bucs were finally able to run the ball. And they were able to throw it as well. They finally had protection. Brady finally had protection. The Ravens, Lamar couldn't really do anything. He was a little off his game. So that first half, I was like, man, is this Ravens team bad? Is it a bad team? Second half, love the adjustments. Love the players playing a bit better there. Causing Brady and company some problems. That's really on the coaching staff of the Ravens, though. The adjustments they made, what they figured out the Bucs were doing in the first half, very impressive. So now they got a tough one against the Saints on Monday night in New Orleans. The Ravens just added Roquan Smith, so that should be pretty fun. Trade deadlines today, maybe they add somebody else, but 9 versus 19 there, that could be a pretty good game. Let's see the Ravens kind of look a little better on the field, a little more consistent, put something consistent together, but they're doing a pretty good job there. That second half Ravens team looked really good. Giants down 2 spots, number 8. Tough loss against Seattle, a little sloppy. Yeah, it's tough. They couldn't really get any offense going. I expected them to have more offense than that. I expected the Seahawks to win, but I expected the Giants to have more offense than that. I mean, even their touchdown came from starting at the 2-yard line or whatever it was with that Lockett fumble. So it was a tough one. Still play some pretty tough defense. And overall this season, they've been very hot. They've been playing really good football. And what happened just before the loss, again, they were playing really good football. So I didn't really see the need to move them down a whole bunch. Maybe that head-to-head, it doesn't mean everything, because there's been so many games going on, but it was tough for me. I almost put the Ravens out of the Giants, but it's so close that I kind of look at that head-to-head, it's maybe like a tiebreaker type thing, kind of have a checklist, like how they play on the field, are they going on a winning streak, those types of things, and then head-to-head maybe come after that, but I was kind of so back and forth with them that it actually maybe factored in a little bit, and you got to remember the Giants were playing really good football before this week, which makes up all of the season pretty much. So they're at number 8. They have a bye week this week. Why I said the Giants and the Ravens I was pretty close to flipping them. Giants have a bye. Ravens play the Saints, so a win for the Ravens could just do the trick and maybe more. 7, the Seahawks are number 7. They're up 4 spots to number 7. They've been playing really good football. They've been very impressive. Geno Smith, this offense, Kenny Walker, the offensive line, maybe they got to deal with the Don Martindale blitz a little bit. They are kind of. It's not that they can't block at all. They know how to actually block. It's just maybe missing assignments. They adjusted a little bit in the second half, which was key for them to win that game. But maybe something teams will take a look at. And the Saints were doing it on them as well. But overall impressive. Defensively, they're getting better. They are getting better. They're not the strongest defense in football. They look like one of the very worst at one point. And since I'd say that Cardinals game, starting with the Cardinals game, they've really adjusted. They've really been better. Wish they would get a little more pass rush. They did early in this game. But overall, both sides of the ball, and with the staff coaching, they've been a very solid football team. So the Seahawks are extremely impressive right now. They're up 4 spots to number 7. The Titans are on a roll. They keep on streaking. They're up 1 spot to number 6. And their defense continues to play ridiculous. Their offense is, it's really one guy right now, but it's a ridiculous guy in talent in Derrick Henry. Tore it up against the Texans there. And they were missing Tannehill in that game. Wish they got a little more passing game going. But they continue to win, playing insanely good defense, and then having Derrick Henry go off obviously helps them. So they are number 6 as they continue to win. Really no change to the Cowboys. Number 5. They've been playing like the best defense in football. Maybe the defense didn't look as great this week. They made clutch plays though to help them get a bigger victory, of course. So an offense, you like to see the offense kind of stepping up this week as well. Maybe knocked the rust off last week against the Lions because they weren't. They're a little underwhelming maybe. So love to see that from the Cowboys. The Vikings are at 4. Another win. They keep on winning. They beat the Cardinals. They've been clutch at the end of games. The offense seems pretty solid. Run and pass game. So the Vikings are at 4. The Vikings, the way they're winning, I thought about swapping the Chiefs and the Vikings because the Chiefs were on a bye The Vikings continue to win. Just based on what I've seen play-wise, I do feel like the Chiefs have shown me on the field maybe they're a little better of a team, even though the Vikings continue to win. So it was really tough. I really thought about that one. So the Vikings are in that range, though. They're playing really good ball. I know a lot of people thought they could be pretty good with Kevin O'Connell coming in. We know they have talent, but for them to consistently be up in the top 5, 4, it's been a pretty good year for them. Chiefs at 3. Chiefs-Titans this week, 3 versus 6 in Kansas City, Sunday Night Football. The Titans are red hot. They're playing insanely good defense. The Chiefs are favored by a boatload. It might be too much. They're off the bye, but that should be a fun game, though. The Titans do need to get some kind of passing game going, though. But that could be a top-tier AFC battle, it looks like. Not too many top-tier teams. And the Bills are still, too, a good win against the Packers. I know the Packers been struggling, but it's still not a free win, an easy team to play. The Bills, a little sloppy in the second half on the field. But the positive, that's the negative. The positive is, besides that they won, is that they're able to win against the Packers, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, by 10 points while being a little sloppy in the second half. So not a lot of teams can do that. And the Eagles are still number 1. I know it's the Steelers, but I was impressed. I could still be impressed no matter the matchup. It's the NFL. The Eagles got after Pickett, which isn't a surprise, but it's good to see it. But offensively, Jalen Hurts to be able to take that next step, make some of those throws downfield, drop into bucket, seeing those things that are things, before this year that we maybe say he just can't do. Maybe get lucky once in a while. And then earlier this year, it's like, yeah, I think he can do those things now here and there, but it's not going to be, can we fully trust it? Mainly we can trust Hurts with his legs and throw into open receivers underneath, scheme things. And now we see a game like this against I know the Steelers are in the bottom portion here, but a solid Mike Tomlin defense, he's able to consistently do these things that people maybe thought that he couldn't or we need to see him do. He does them, so that's a big thing for me. Hurts, it was a big game for him. It's a big step for the Eagles team, even though they've been undefeated and they're going against Steelers. I think I look more into it than that. So the Eagles definitely remain at number 1. They'll play the Texans on Thursday Night Football. It's been a wild year, so it would be something there. It is in Houston Thursday night, but the Texans are really struggling to stop the run. Hurts and Sanders coming to town with that run game and that blocking. The Eagles might not need to throw, just looking at the matchup, they might not need to throw a lot in that one. So we'll see, though. Anything can happen. But that wraps up the Week 9 Power Rankings. We're back every Tuesday morning with this, Tuesday night with weekly picks with the boys, Wednesday afternoon with score predictions, picks against the spread. Those have been going well this year or recently. And trade deadline videos out. Check those out. Possibly another one to come if there's more deals here or more news. But join us, like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Important links pinned in the comments. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.